It's a good morning. It's a good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Queen's Sports Club in the city of Kings and Queens, Bulawayo, for the third ODI between Zimbabwe women and Bangladesh women in the tri-series that has been happening right here in the city of Kings and Queens. My name is Tawanda Eli, right here in the commentary box, joined by Tinashe Chimbano as we take a look at this ODI series being the last game that we are having in this tri-series. So, good morning, Tinashe.
Good morning, Eli.
How have you been?
I've been good. I've been very good, actually.
Fantastic. So this is the last game of the three that we have had right here at Queen's Sports Club. It's a beautiful day for cricket. But now we would like to take a look at the series as a whole, how both teams have performed leading to this final one. And also, what is also important to note is that both teams have been using this series as preparatory games for the ICC Women's World Cup qualifiers. So just as a thumbs up, how have you seen the whole series as a whole from the first two games that have been played between Zimbabwe and Bangladesh?
Yes, Eli, it's been a difficult one for Zimbabwe, but Bangladesh have really come out and shown how they are planning themselves with a bet. However, it seems there's quite a lot of work for Zimbabwe still to go. The top order hasn't really fired, and they had quite a softish middle order that hasn't been able to actually repair and maybe enforce anything of any substance for Bangladesh to chase, which has actually made it a very difficult one for them and made it very easy for Bangladesh, because more often than not, their batters have just knocked it through and gotten past whatever was needed.
Right. What I would also like just to bring to the table is, leading up to this series, Zimbabwe last month were playing Ireland in Harare, so they recently had some sort of game time out there in the middle. But however, Bangladesh, their last international series was actually in 2019 at the Women's T20 World Cup. So coming into this one, most people would have thought Zimbabwe would have had an edge over Bangladesh, since that they played a very top team last month. Bangladesh last in action November of 2019. But however, when we look at the performances, Bangladesh seem to be the team that have been on top of their game. What would you attribute that to be?
Oh yeah, Eli, you make a very strong point and a very good one. Bangladesh, in comparison to Zimbabwe, these are two very different teams as far as experience is concerned. I think Bangladesh has been playing in the one-day sector for a long time. In Zimbabwe, we are just in that seventh game today. We opened up brilliantly against Ireland with that win, and then from there on, the experience and the gulf in terms of quality and all the other factors that come in have really started showing. We ended up losing 3-1, but the sharpness of Bangladesh shows you that they've been working in the one-day game for a long time, and their experience, the coaching, and everything around their team has been on point.
Right, so right now the teams are walking onto the field of play. As we can see, Zimbabwe, they won the toss and they have elected to bat first, something that we've seen over the past two games, choosing to bat first. What's your take on that?
Yeah, I think they need to try and bet the 50 overs. I think that will be the message, but it's a strange decision why they have gone with the bet again this morning. But we would like to see how that goes for them today. Hopefully they will be able to give us something substantive to talk about.
Right. Since this is the third and last game of the series, can we expect any changes in terms of players that will be given a run?
Yes, definitely. I think Josephine Como, who got injured in the first morning, should get a nod. We were hoping that maybe Chieza Dururu, Lorraine Piri, Nomvelo Sbanda, just to make sure that going into the qualifiers, every one of that squad would have had a run. Obviously, we know there's a warm-up match coming, but this would add a little bit of experience going into the qualifiers.
Fantastic. So for those that have been with us for the start of these three ODIs, we'd like to present them with a little bit of a challenge in picking who they think might be in the final 15 of the Zimbabwe squad, as also the Zimbabwe team are using these qualifiers to pick their final squad for the ICC Women's Cup World Cup qualifiers. As the game goes on, I'll be back to ask Tinashe as well, who does he think will make it into the final 15? So, Tinashe, be on the lookout for that, my friend.
Yes, definitely. I'll wear my selection cap for the day, but it's quite interesting. There's grey areas there for Zimbabwe. There's areas that they are really sure about, like their two openers. The bowling, I think Bofana has been very good. The spin department, with Granger having not played much, who has been the frontline spinner for Zimbabwe for quite a long time. So it just opens up the options a little bit, lectures, if we can see a decent game today.
Fantastic. And then looking at Bangladesh, what do you think has been key in them being so consistent in terms of how they've gone about their business in the last two games?
I think preparation has been the one thing that I can point out to say their success has been to that. I think we saw after the second one-day international how precise and how committed this group is in terms of preparing that innings. We saw the openers going into the nets again to try and really perfect their skills. So that sort of preparation, that sort of edge is really lacking in the Zimbabwean side.
Fantastic. So we move to the field of play where we see Bangladesh fielding first, Zimbabwe winning the toss and choosing to bat first. It's cut away. First runs on the board for Zimbabwe. They'll take a quick two. Good running. That is good running. So Modesta Mpachikwa putting runs on the board and getting off the mark. So like Tinashe said, that what will be key is how Zimbabwe choose to go about their running. Will definitely that one given as a wide as it just goes down leg side.
Umpire today, Stanley Gogwe, experienced campaigner in the local and just recently got his debut into the international scene.
Now that's tucked away down the leg side. They'll look to run hard. Modesta Mpachikwa looking to push, and they get a comfortable two. Good running. This is something that Zimbabwe would definitely need to do consistently in today's game. Just look to work around getting singles, and if they do get that bad ball, they put it away.
Slight change of action. Left arm seamer choosing to come around the wicket, and again Modesta tickles it down fine leg for another single.
Modesta Mpachikwa, she had a good game in the last ODI, but just however, just a lapse in concentration saw her losing her wicket in the early 30s. So today, I'm sure she'll be hoping to push on from there. Maybe look forward to getting either a half century or even target the big one.
Really good shot, Eli. What made that shot very good was she waited for it and bang through that gap between extra cover and point. No chance for the fielder. Good batting.
Well played. Good comeback from the bowler. What will be key with Zimbabwe first over? 10 for no loss. Right. Opening the bowling from the airport end will be the leading wicket taker so far in the series. That is Nahida Akhtar. She's got 6 wickets so far in the series. Will also be standing a chance, probably competing for player of the series. So we'll need to take a look at how she goes through today's game. Modesta Mpachi, we're just having a look at the field set that has been offered to her. She looks like a very organized batter in terms of how she structures her innings, taking lead from how she went about her business in the second ODI. Just playing at that one that is just outside of stump. A shot that seemed to get him quite a lot of runs in the last game.
Yeah, she's very good square on the offside. Is Modesta Mpachi. Likes to cut. However, at times it also becomes an area of weakness. We did see her losing her wicket twice in that fashion against Ireland. So should be really looking to make sure that her execution levels in that particular area improve.
Well played. Looking at that one, closely following it. Presenting the full face of the bat. Solid block. Goes for the cut. And they will squeeze a single. Good running. Some will say that was a risky run. You don't run on a misfield. But however, I would say that Modesta did time a run pretty well. So what I was going to say that in the first over is that Shane Myers would be happy having hit that first four, unlike in the previous game where she tried to pull one and she was caught down at fine leg. So definitely her nerves would have settled, getting off the mark in her second ODI. Oh, she cuts and cuts well. And she'll pick up a second boundary. She timed that beautifully. A valiant effort to try and stop that one at square leg, but they couldn't stop it. They pick up 4. Mr. Fahira Islam Tristan. This is the first time that we're seeing her in this series. Anar Alam was the one who had opened the bowling in the last 2 games. A left arm seamer coming over the wicket. Just getting a little bit of a hint of in swing.
Yeah, a very deserved break for Jahanara Alam. I think she's been brilliant in the series, providing probably the best starts for any team in both matches, getting rid of the captain in the first one. And then with the first ball, she got debutant Shane Myers, who today started like a house on fire, 2 boundaries. But I like the look of Islam Trishna, gets the ball to move back into the right-handers. We'll be looking to see if she gets a rhythm and gets comfortable. What else she's got to offer in terms of her skills. Slight field change. The captain moves out of slip, just reinforcing that cover point area that Modesta is very strong in.
A little bit of width offered there. Modesta will feel like as if she lost out in terms of cutting that one away. Attack to go in again, down to fine leg. Quick single taken. And that's the end of the third over. Zimbabwe, 16 for no loss. Mahida Akhtar continuing from away, but that's straight to the fielder in the point region.
Slight change in the field. See a fielder going to the tip point boundary. Just add a little bit of protection for Akhtar. Modesta quite good in that region. And the captain opting to give a little bit of protection. A couple of new faces today for Bangladesh. Nuzan Tasnia getting a game today behind the stumps. Very good ploy, Eli. We get to the serious end of business this month. Everybody in their team gets a good run, get to feel the conditions. A little bit of bounce on that one, just grips. After just pulling the length back a little bit and managing to just extract a little bit of 10 and bounce.
Yeah, definitely that one did have quite a good height in terms of bounce. But also, do you remember, Modesta is not the tallest of players we have on the field. Fourth over, 16 for no loss. Good Yorker, well bowled and well played at the same time by Shane Myers, digging that one out.
Yes, really well played, Eli. It was dipping and swinging back into Shane Myers' legs and just about gets a bat down in time.
Short driven and well fielded as well. But Zimbabwe taking that quick single. Good running. Good running.
Yeah, Shane Myers, they're quite decided. With that little bit of a dive to stop that one, just afford.
Hit very hard. Quick single taken again. After another shot played by Modesta Mpachiko into that offside region. Good call between the two. Very positive. And they're quite sure in terms of when they want to run, you can hear them calling out loud, yes. Pulled away. One bouncing into the boundary. Shane Myers just swinging off to the leg side. And they pick up 4 runs. Good shot.
A brilliant shot, Eli. This time, unlike the first game, she gets 4. The runs coming in quite easily for Zimbabwe today. Just about touching the 6 mark per over. Trishna here with some questions to answer.
Shane Myers drives again into the play. She knows where her strengths lie. If it's short, she will go for it. End of the 5th over, 22 for no loss. And now Idato continues from the airport end.
Steady start for Zimbabwe. Eli today, I think we've been yearning to see a contest, fair contest. And today, I think we might be poised at 1. These 2 openers settling in nicely.
Well, if they continue on this track, it'll be quite a game that we have on our hand. Good call. Loud shout of no from Shane Myers. Zimbabwe have been pretty solid in their start so far in these last 5 overs. Definitely you can say that Shane Myers has been the one who's been more attacking. Modesta has been pretty calm and looked to construct her innings at a steady pace. But that one, that was a good ball that just bit the outside edge of the bat. Good contest we have. Naida Akhtar just pushing that one to pitch between leg stump, between leg and middle. Modesta just watching it carefully. Again, well bowled. And that's the end of the 6th over. 22 for no loss.
A bowling change. We see for the first time Khadija and with that bowling change, a change in commentary. Eli takes a break. Welcome Vumi. Good morning.
Good morning, Tinashe, and good morning, viewers. Good to be back in the commentary box. Much better start by Zimbabwe today.
Yes, brilliant start, isn't it? First look at Khadija. Just drops that one short. Off spinners early on.
Yeah, a bit of a loosener there, and Sean Myers will feel she's missed out. We know she's a power hitter. She's shown that already. She's hit a few big shots, and ball was there to hit. And already you can see the field change. They're reinforcing that area. I'm expecting her to bowl a few more short balls outside of stump, I wonder.
Nicely played. Strong start this. 23 for no loss after 66.2. Modesta turns for 2. Chance for run out. And it's given out. Modesta orchestrating her own demise. There was never 2 runs there. Never a chance for 2 runs. And this time around, Bangladesh gets a gift of a breakthrough.
Oh my word, oh my word. Just as we were speaking about how well Zimbabwe have started, we have gone and committed suicide once again. Never 2 there. I don't know what Modesta was thinking. She's just turned blind and run to the danger end. The player has fumbled it, but has still managed to break the stumps in time. And she's run out on the score of 24 for 1. Tinashe, we're shooting ourselves in the foot again.
Yes, definitely no 2 runs there. But Modesta has been running well all morning. And this time around, she just misjudges that one. Didn't really run as much as she might have expected. And a very good throw. The keeper did the rest. Zimbabwe, in a very fortunate manner for Bangladesh, are 24 runs for 1.
Ashley Ndiraya struggled so far in the series. So let's hope for her today, without the usual opening partnership, that she's not under as much pressure.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think she'll be in as much pressure. She's affording Bangladesh a way back into this match. Zimbabwe having dominated the opening proceedings.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that Zimbabwe have chosen to go that route again after looking solid. I mean, the bowling has not been as threatening today, Tinashe, and we're looking forward to a good start for Zimbabwe. But again, like you say, they've opened the door and Bangladesh have put 1 foot back in the door already.
Nicely played. Khadija just drifting a little bit straight, and Ndiraya gets off the mark. End of the over. It's 25 for 1. $25 for 1. We continue into the 8th over. After just sorting out Zimbabwe, having played 26, winning 24 T20s. You might a 7th one there.
It's an easy game from the commentary box, Tinashe, but just thinking about looking at the run rate, looking at where Zimbabwe are, maybe they're thinking they need to up the ante a bit more. And she went on looking for a run that definitely wasn't there. But we're hoping that she will learn with time, and experience is the best teacher.
Driven, nicely driven by Ndiraya. Dissects the fielders. Might have legs to go for 4, and it does. Welcome boundary, a brilliant shot to kickstart Ndiraya's innings.
Very good shot, weight transfer perfect, not too much bats.
Playing a miss. This time, Khatun just pushing that one, rather just pushing that one with the arm. Ndiraya playing for 10. Probably just pitching a little bit down leg side. Didn't really bounce as much as Ndiraya was expected. risky shot against a new ball.
Presented with a dead bat straight into the covers. End of that particular over. Zimbabwe are now 29 for 1 after 8 overs.
Khadija continues from the city end. Shane Myers looking set, and she's that type of a player. Once she's in, she wants to go for the big one. Edge is that one. No run. Smart work at point.
Let me correct you there, Tinashe. Shane wants to go for the big one, whether she's in or not. You saw that in the first game when very first ball she played, she tried to hit it out of the ground. Local, we know as Chris Gale because she's an attacking batter. That's how she plays the games.
Yes, very good point for me. But I think she's also very experienced. She would know how to deal with this situation. They just lost the wicket. She knows when to be circumspect. She knows when to attack. And Khadija not really extracting much turn. We saw in that delivery where Modesta edged it past slip. And this time again, nicely played. Nice down the ground. Fahima Katun does the work. It's long on. Let's go to Khadija. She hasn't really managed to get some turn. She's bowled with a little bit of width, but Myers in earlier on, Pachikwa not being able to really punish the width that was on offer.
Good intent there from Ashley Ndiraya coming down the wicket, which is what I wanted to speak about. That is 5 dot balls in that over. 5 dot balls in that over, and we're alluding to that she's not getting much turn. So end of the 9th over, the
Naida Akhtar, slight misfield at extra cover, just avails a chance for Shane Myers to pick up one. Very good basics from the lady who captained in the second and the first game. Khatun just backing up her mate there, just keeping it to 1.
We've seen 1 or 2 misfields already from the Bangladeshi side today, which is not how they played the first couple of games. They were very good in the field. I don't know if they've relaxed today, seeing that they've won the series, but their fielding hasn't been as electric as it has been before.
Yes, definitely for me a slight dip in intensity from the Bangladeshis. Obviously, they haven't had as many celebratory points. Swept, a little bit of a top edge. The fielder deep square, so some work, and the ball wins. Welcome boundary to Zimbabwe, nicely played by Ndiraya.
Good shot by Ndiraya, sweeping on length there. She just picked that up. Couple of bounces into the fence. Fielder was interested for months, but the ball was always the winner. They welcome boundary for Zimbabwe.
Joti, the captain, at 45, just running across and having a word with Nahida Akhtar in the field in that process. Sweeps. And she's out. Oh my. Just after picking up a boundary, Diraya goes across again, but this time it's full and it's straight. Umpire Cesara says it's out. In Zimbabwe, after a somewhat good start at 35-2. Marianne Musonda, the captain, walks in again when a team seems to be in a spot of bother. I think she's getting used to that by now. Khatun just firing that one in, and Diraya just couldn't pick it up, and she went for that sweep. She plays the sweep very well, but this time around, the shot selection leaving a lot to be desired. So Bangladesh back in control.
Zimbabwean captain in a bit of a crisis, but it's better than when she's been in the series before. 35-2, we could say she's got a foundation, so that she's got time to play herself in and try and build a score. That one is pushed into the mid-wicket region for no run. Length. When she played the ball that she hit for 4, we spoke about that, she swept it off length, and I think she's just been outfoxed by the bowler. She's gone for the same shot, and the bowler has pushed it through quicker and much fuller, and really the umpire had no choice but to stick his finger up there.
Yes, that was straight down dead, eh?
Big
WW
shot!
shouts! This time she dismisses the Zimbabwe captain for attack. Brilliant batting, bowling from Akhtar. Bangladesh are back on top. Zimbabwe reeling at 35-3.
It's a very different.
35-1, and the umpire signals the end of the first power play into the second power play. 35-3 rather. I'm still thinking Zimbabwe are batting well, but 2 quick wickets have thrown the cats amongst the pigeon, and Zimbabwe are facing down the barrel again, Tinashe.
Yes, really difficult game. I think group wickets have been the enemy for Zimbabwe, and this time around, after a somewhat good start, from 23 for no loss, we have moved on quite quickly to 35-3 in 10. New better in, Krista Dochatonzwa had problems with a little bit of fitness, missed out on the Ireland series, and she has had a somewhat to this Bangladeshi series. She walks in when a team needs a calm head, and calm she's going to have to be.
Tinashe, going back to the captain's dismissal, we spoke about the length the Bangladeshis are bowling. Surely she should have been on the front foot, seeing as she just walked into the crease. It's always much safer on the front foot before you see her go through
Right. Off the back foot, she punches it in the gap between extra cover, and she gets off the mark with a brilliant boundary. Well timed. She didn't look to hit it too hard.
Very good shot there by Christabel Chatonzwa, and I'm hoping as well that she's coming into the crease. Second ball she's faced, she's played a lovely cover drive, and hopefully that gets her going in the series for Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe would really want to have a better showing today and get to a score nearer the 200 mark. She's played the shot this time, but straight to the fielder there. A little bit of a misfield, but she picks it up, no harm done. We're speaking about the issue of picking length, and the captain has gone back to a ball that she should have been forward to, and the same way the wicket fell just before that. So maybe short selection is becoming an issue again that Zimbabwe to address before the cut.
Yes, definitely. I think we've alluded to the fact that Zimbabwe have been the orchestrators of their own demise throughout the series, with a lot of shots that leaves a lot to be desired. The decision making around the team hasn't been spot on. We look at how Modesta lost a wicket today. It wasn't really true, and again, end of the over. It's 41 for 3 after 11. Actor continues. Christabel with some real answers, some real questions to answer here. Actor has just sprung into action, bowling with some real emphasis, and this time around on that particular delivery, just gets it to grip a little bit, getting the outside half of Christabel Chatonzwa's bat.
I think Adam Chifo, the Zimbabwean coach, will really be pulling his hair out, because the Bangladeshis have not taken a wicket. Zimbabwe has given them, presented them with all 3 wickets, and we're speaking about how Zimbabwe looks like they've changed their approach today. But it looks like the more things change, the more they remain the same, Tinashe.
Yes, I was actually going to say I don't think Adam Chifo still has any hair.
Big shot. Actually, that's bolder. Straight through. Clean ball. Off stump is pegged back, and Actor is celebrating. The Christabel Chatonzwa is played all round. Straight delivery, and Zimbabwe sink further down the abyss. The score 41 for 4. Zimbabwe are facing it, Tinashe.
That's actually a serious ball.
Yeah, that turned.
That actually a serious ball. 23 men from front on. That is actually a serious ball. Joe.
Is that yours?
Yeah. Now here the actor, Eli spoke about how she was the front runner for the player of the series, and in this couple of overs that it has gone past, we have seen a drop chance. The standing keeper today gives Josephine Como another chance. Nahida Actor causing a lot of problems for pretty much everyone out there. The keeper, better, all struggling to track her. Josephine Como with a little reprieve. Brilliant bowling. Good change of pace.
5.5 overs, 2 maidens, 3 for 14. She's going at an economy rate of 2.54. And Josephine has just walked out from the dressing room, and you could tell by the first shot that she has played that she has not thought about how she is going to face Naida Akhtar. And that's a big shout.
It's the second wicket. Josephine Como rocks back, and she's trapped right in front. Umpire Percival Cesara with little option than to dismiss her. Zimbabwe struggling, 5 wickets in a space of 4.5 overs. That wicket ends the 12th over. Calamitous batting from Zimbabwe, who have reduced themselves really to 41 for 5. And Tasmin Granger, not really known for exploits with the bat, walks in a crisis time. Bowling change from the City end. Back into the side. Nicely driven. A little bit of a misfield. The fielder in the ball that got rid of Christabel. Turning and beating her in flight. Knocking off stump. And the experience of Akhtar. She comes back. She pushes one with the arm. Traps Josephine right in front. She might feel slightly hard done by, but that comes with the territory of having bowled a brilliant spell.
Tinashe, when someone is about to bat, I know we have different processes that we follow. Some like to sit in the dressing room and listen to music. Some like to have a chat with another batter. Some just want to be quiet and look at it. But I just alluded to big cut shot there, but fielded a backward point. We'll get back to the story just now. So I was saying that, I said that the 2 balls she faced before, there was one where she played and missed outside off stump, and the second one she left it, but she did not have a definite plan as to what she was going to do with that left armour, and it was just a question of time before the wicket was taken. You could see that it was building.
Down leg side, the keeper can't get to it. It's going to be wide, and it goes all the way. Welcome runs for Zimbabwe, who are in a spot of bother. Yes, when you were speaking about how Josephine didn't look like she's got a plan. And I think it's much bigger than just Josephine not having a plan. I think we saw how prolific Akhtar is and how prolific she was in the first game and how very good she was again in the second game. I think it's more of a technical driven down the ground. Another single. Yes, for me, I think the problem around the difficulty in playing Akhtar gets back with the 3 wickets that she has had, and the way the technical team have dealt around that. I don't think they've had enough time to actually go through and talk about a definite plan against her. I think she's been one of the standout performers this series, leading wicket taker with 9, and it doesn't seem like there is a cut-out plan to try and either block her out, give her 10 to go for nothing without many wickets, or are you going to unsettle her? Are we going to attack her? In which way are we going to attack her? So she's just had a free run to bowl at pretty much intentionless batters.
Another one down the leg side. I think that's just come off the pad as they amble across for another run. That's very welcome run for Zimbabwe as the umpire signaling that yes, that has definitely come off the pad. The end of the 13th over, the score is now 50 for 5. Zimbabwe are snailing along in this. Granger, couple of bounces and it's picked up at rather a deep gully and no runs coming off. A particular shot from Granger, 37 overs to go, 5 wickets in hand. Tinashe, seems like we're singing from the same hymn book. Every game has been the same for Zimbabwe.
Yeah, it's a one. Zimbabwe today gifted a decent opening stand. 23 for no loss after 5.5 they were before. Ball it out! Straight through. Granger playing for 10. And this time around, she gets a fifer. Well deserved. Really well bowled from Nahida Akhtar. I don't know how many times we have to say that. Nahida Akhtar has been the menace. And today, getting a fifer, going past Granger in a swift, brilliant bowling. Zimbabwe reeling at 50 for 6.
Nahida Akhtar has just picked up a fifer, going straight through the defenses of Tasman Granger. I'm not sure what she was trying to do. Neither did she try to defend the ball or try to push it for one, and she's been clean bowled. Another Bulawayo girl, Lorraine Peary, has joined to see if she can steady the course. Tasman Granger is out, and Shan Myers is fighting a long battle. 20 for 21, going along nicely, but somebody really needs this. Big shout! Big shout! They're pleading with the umpire, but the umpire seems not interested in that one. But very big shout there. And they all look down. I think they're looking up to see if DRS is in operation, but no. So that's not a wicket. End of that over. Zimbabwe tittering after 14 overs, 50 for 6. Latamonda will continue from the city end. And we've had a change in the commentary box. Tinashe has taken a well-deserved break after all the wickets that have been tumbling around him. He needs to go and just have a breather and unscramble his mind, because he's pulling his hair out of his head with the way some of the shot selection by the Zimbabwean batters. I'm joined by Tino Tenda Mawoyo for the first time this series. Tino, we hope you brought some luck for the Zimbabweans.
I hope so too. I thought in that opening partnership that maybe the decision to bat first today was going to yield some good results. But as we've seen, Nahida Akhtar has got different plans. She's bowled really well today. Hasn't been afraid to use her variations. She's found that if she's given the ball a bit of air, she's getting some turn from the surface. And in between that, she's got a very good arm ball, one that goes straight on with the arm, quick and flat. And that's how she's got very well-deserved 5 wickets.
Pushed down the ground by Sean Myers to add another 1 score. Fighting a lone battle for Zimbabwe. Opening batter Sean Myers, 21 from 24, going at a strike rate of 87.5. Joined now by another warrior girl, Lorraine Piri. Tino, we spoke about, before you joined the commentary, that we're worried about the lack of a plan against Akhtar by the Zimbabwean batters. What is, as that one is called, rightfully called, a wide? So going back to the conversation, you've played on this wicket before against some serious world-class bowlers. I remember you scoring 100 against Pakistan with a serious attack. What is the thought process when you know you're facing a really good bowler? What is it that you do or tell yourself to make sure you don't give away 5 wickets as we have done today?
Well, I think before you get onto the field of play for me and you are facing a 20 bowler, I think the preparation is what's most important. If you've prepared yourself and you've got a plan as to how, then that makes life a lot easier. I haven't been a part of the preparation for the Zim ladies, but they've certainly shown that they've struggled against the spin attack from Bangladesh. We'll come back to that conversation. Into the 15th, 52 for 6.
Nahida Akhtar will continue from the airport end. 7 overs so far. And she has 4 maidens in those 7 overs. Dream figures, Tino.
Absolutely. She's bowled well. Take nothing away from her. But I just want to go back to the conversation we're having in the last over for me. I was talking about, I think, the most important thing before you face up to anybody on the field of play is the preparation that you've taken. Oof, that's just missed the leg stump. That's probably going to run away for 4 byes. Bangladesh field is chasing and they're not going to get there. Signalled as 4 runs by the umpire and 4 welcome ones. So for me, if you've been drilled in a certain way and you've got plans as to how you're going to play certain bowlers from a particular lineup, and you go out there and you try and execute those plans and it doesn't work, then I don't have a problem. But it's when you go out there and you're ill-equipped, and I'm not saying that's the situation in this case, it makes it very difficult for you to be able to try and have a plan. And if somebody's bowling particularly well and has got a variety of balls that they're employing, it just makes it very difficult for you to be able to, get going or get runs. And you can see, with regards to the Zimbabwean batters, I haven't really seen a plan in how they are planning on taking on the Bangladesh spinners. I haven't really seen people moving their feet, looking to hit the ball down the ground to the sweepers. I haven't seen them getting right back and hitting the sweepers, whether on the leg or offside. Because once you do that, it makes it very difficult for the bowler to be able to just keep bowling the ball in one area. And then that allows you to be able to get off strike, get to the other end. When you get a bad ball, put it away to the boundary and bat through those middle overs, which is so important for Zimbabwe. Like that. That's good cricket. She's got herself to the pitch of the ball. Played it nicely with the full face down to long off. She gets to the other side.
It's very good cricket for Sean Myers, 25 of 29. But that has, again, used up 4 balls before she has played that good shot, which is putting pressure on the team. I'm not blaming Sean because of the situation she's in. She's got to play like that. Preservation of wickets is what's important because of what has happened around her. And I like that what Tino has said. Zimbabwe knew they were playing Bangladesh. They've seen footage surely that Bangladesh has spinners. They were in Bulawayo 2 weeks before. They had a camp. The question that we've been asking as commentators, we'll get back to that because that's the end of the 16th over and the score is now 56 for 7. Score is 57 for 6, and Lata will continue from the city end. Tino, I like the way Shan has batted. That was a defensive shot, but she's shown intent. She's tried to push that past the bowler. It's been good fielding of the bowler, but some of the Zimbabwean batters, when they dig themselves into a hole, they struggle to play shots. They present dead bats and the bowlers get on top without any pressure from the batters.
Yeah, well, she certainly looked a cut above the rest today, Vumi, and that's why she's been able to negotiate these first 17 odd overs. And as you say, she's showing intent. And the ball intent that you're talking about. She gave herself a bit of room going to the leg side to allow herself to be able to free her hands and hit the ball through the offside.
She's certainly looking the part, playing a second ODI officially. Big cheers from the crowd for the local girl as she presents a very good defensive shot to that. And no run there for Zimbabwe, but I think her role now is just to stay there and make sure that there's enough support for Shan to elongate this innings as long as possible. We've just had the first drinks break. And just after I say that, no footwork, she just wafted at a ball outside off stump. Lucky not to get an edge on that one. Concentration, the girls seem to just lose concentration. Just after I've said she's played good cricket shot, the very next ball, she just wafted at one, nothing shot.
Yeah, again, look at that last stroke. For me, it's the foot movement, which wasn't there. And last delivery, she decides to let go. Zimbabwe 58 for 6. Falls short of the fielder at slip. She wouldn't mind another 9 overs, will me?
She might want to come and play for the local franchise team here, Tuskers, because she's extracting some turn off that wicket. And good flight. I really love her.
It's Queen Sports Club. And I expect that as the day progresses and the pitch dries up a little bit, then you expect a bit of turn later on in the day. Otherwise, I've been very impressed with what she's managed to get out of the surface.
Good looking shot for nothing. But again, the intent was there in the last delivery. End of the over. Score is on 59 for 6. Latta will continue from the city end, driven out into the covers, no damage done there. So the wickets around Shan Myers have now forced her to play a more reserved innings. I was saying to those who have not seen Shan before, Shan is known for her huge hits. If you followed her around the world where she's played her cricket, she scores really quickly. There goes a big shot again, but straight to the fielder. She's had to wind her game in because of the situation she's found herself in. But I think very mature innings from her. She's shown that she has what it takes to play whatever the conditions presented are.
Yeah, it's a pity. She applies her trade in South Africa. Has been there for the last couple of years. Zimbabwe really would have loved to have her be part of the side as far back as probably the Pakistan tour earlier in the year, which of course was cut short due to COVID. Ladies have Shan Myers back in the side and at the top of order.
Pushes that one out. It's fielded by long off, just the one. As I think the well defended by Piri. She looks solid in her defense. It's when she tries to attack that she looks like she's about to get out. But so far, I've been impressed with the way she's defended, presented a straight bat and right out to the pitch of the ball. So hopefully for the Zimbabwean team, she can hang around a bit longer with Shan Myers, and Shan could post a half century or even beyond for the Zimbabwean cause. End of the 19th, 60 for 6.
Fielder back at sweeper. Sean's looking for two. And sent back by Lorraine Peary. And quite rightly so. Bit of confusion between the two batters out there. However, ends up okay for Zimbabwe. Already had one disastrous run out. Don't need another. End of the last over. Vumi Moyo made way in the combox. And I'm joined by...
She's been very impressive taking the 5-wicket haul. Club generally does that in the morning with the spin, and as you alluded earlier on, that as the wicket gets dry, it begins to take some spin. Good defensive shot again there from Lorraine Peary. She's going to be licking her lips at this wicket because with the way the spin has taken the wicket, she's going to be saying she can do the same thing as well.
Missing out. And that delivery going down the leg side. Brings us to the end of the 20th over. After this next delivery.
Dot ball to end the over and the spell. Very impressive spell. 5 for 21 in 10 brings us to the end of the 20th over. The score is 61 for 6.
Change of bowling for Bangladesh.
Ooh, a bit of grip, Tino. Good start from Rumana Ahmed. Nice shot down to long off. Sean Mayers is continuing slowly, as Vumi alluded earlier, and the Bangladeshis are being clever about it by giving a one and looking to attack the lesser batter, that Lorraine Peary, hoping to make the inroads and wrap up the inning. So it'll be interesting how Lorraine will be able to tackle this, make sure that she gets Sean Mayers on strike as much as possible. Attacking field again from Bangladesh with the slip in. Brought the man out at sweeper to avoid getting the easy single.
Just going back to Sean Myers and how she's played. She hasn't been too bad actually with 6 wickets down, 20 overs in. With 13 runs coming from 41 deliveries, a strike rate of 75. And her 31 runs, half of the Zimbabwean score.
Oh, tried to hit out, and Lorraine Peary has lost a wicket to the 5th ball of Rumana Ahmed's first over. Zimbabwe lose another one. The score is 62-7. Esther Mbofana, next Zimbabwean batter in. Ooh. She's also looking to be on the defensive.
Another change of bowling from Bangladesh, this time from the airport end. Wonderful spell just completed by Nahida Akhtar. 5 wickets in her 10 overs. She's replaced by Khadija Kubra, another of the Bangladesh spinners. Finger spinner. Myers' opportunity to hit that through the offside. Just hasn't got contact.
Sean Myers has looked so composed, you know. She's cut that. Oh! Dropped. Oh, there's a chance of a run out. Oh, as I was saying, she has looked so composed. Thanks the commentator's curse that has almost got the wicket. But I was saying she's looked so composed, and coming from the South African background where the wickets are a bit quick, being able to adjust here on the Queen's wicket that's more on the slower side of things has been very impressive to her. Yes, better shot now. Instead of cutting the off spinner, she's tried to play more of a back foot punch.
I find that that shot will work well on this kind of pitch with the Bangladesh bowlers because they're not getting a lot of bounce. Bit of turn, yes, we've seen. A lot of the balls are just keeping a little bit low, so playing the cross-bat shot is difficult. I'll tell you what, Istanbul Fana is no mug with the bat. We saw that in that last one-day international. She stuck around for an extended period.
Also being an experienced campaigner in the side, she would have probably faced many situations like this. Or a bit of bounce. Ooh. It's always encouraging and it's always exciting for me as a spinner, Tino, to see another fellow spinner extracting some turn and bounce on the surface, and let's say well played by Istanbul Fana in the end there.
Oh, that's a big shout. He's probably just struck her outside the line of the off stump. Istanbul Fana. 63 for 7.
Rumana Ahmed to continue from the city end with the leg breaks. Impressive first over she had with the wicket. Sean Myers looking to get it off and maybe score 1 or 2 boundaries.
Yeah, she certainly is showing a little bit more intent here, John, from that last over. And reiterate that I think it's because Zimbabwe have just got 3 wickets left in the innings now. That's wild bowled. That's the googly. Turns back into the right-handed Myers. She's watched it well. But I wouldn't be surprised if we just get to see a couple of big strokes. Long off goes straight up.
Oh, good fielding, good fielding,
Oh,
good
mix
fielding.
up.
Another mix-up.
And Istanbul Fana just gets back in time.
Apart from that drop catch, you know, the Bangladeshis have been so good on the field, enabling a route that set up the collapse of the Zimbabweans with that first wicket partnership. Oh, another one that just held its line. Clever bowling here from Rumana Ahmed. The field is spread. Sean Myers has got the option of getting the one, but they're not giving her the easy one, trying to entice her to go for the big shot. Another dot ball. Oh, another run for the Zimbabwe.
Sloppy from Bangladesh. They really are a good fielding outfit, John, as you mentioned. It's just the last few overs. Not quite. Bit of turn. It goes past the outside edge. Good over from Romana. Into the 23rd. 64 for 7.
Khadija Kubra. A bit of intent again from Shan Mayers for no run. The Bangladeshi bowlers making it difficult for her to rotate the strike and also get the big boundaries, as they sense that she's looking to take it to the bowlers and try and up the rate for the Zimbabweans. Another one in the air, but straight to the man that was put back at a long off. We saw how they set the field for Esther Mbufana with Romana Ak with the close-in catches. To be interesting how the offie will go about it here. See the long one still there, still a wicket-taking position. Just the sweeper still out. She's got an opportunity to get one run. Or looking to cut the ball. Very difficult to cut the ball off these Bangladeshi bowlers as they are a bit skiddy. So a leading edge, a bottom edge, and maybe caught behind might be the result. Better on the back foot punches. Oh, that one slightly turning. And she's still looking to play the cut shot, you know. Shan Mayers showed us the last over when she tried playing the cut shot, she was almost caught. Another cut shot again. This is good bowling from Khadija Kubra, enticing her to keep playing shot, which is not there on this wicket and the way that they are bowling. All ball. Very good over. One run off the over. Bangladesh controlling the situation well. After 24 overs, the score is 65 for 7.
Need to try and get as many as you can on the board. Yes, if you now have a partner who can't bat at all, nicely played over the top down to long off for one, then you can start to farm the strike. Because what she's done now is a ball later,
She's taken one.
she's decided to take the single. So I don't understand why she wouldn't have taken it at the beginning of the over. maybe they had a conversation between the two of them that we couldn't pick up. But certainly, I wouldn't be farming the strike with Esther Bafana at the other end.
That's a good shot. Straight to point. You can see now that she's, as the inning is progressing, even though she hasn't scored much, she's sussed up how the wicket is playing, and she's about to play some free cricket. Over balled again. Romana Ahmed has used the googly very well, and looks like the Zimbabweans are not picking it at all. Very clever bowling from Romana Ahmed. Turn and bounce. Oh, one run there. A score like this, it's very difficult, to farm the strike, because you want to get as many runs as possible, and it's not like when Sean Mayers is on strike, she's getting the boundaries at will. So it's important that they knock the ball around. Esther bets a bit longer, gets confident. It's a good shot, but straight to the man. Get confident, and then she'll in turn start scoring runs. At the end of the 25th over, halfway, oh, good shot. One run. She's managed to get off striker. First ball giving the strike to Shan Myers. She's getting confident, is Esther Bafana. Ball again by Khadija Kubra. Joining me as Tino is taking a bit of a breather is Master Eli.
Good morning, John.
Good morning, my man. Good to be sitting with you here finally, yeah?
It's been a long time coming, my friend. Yeah, but it's good to be here. Zimbabwe finding themselves in a very difficult position, pretty similar to what they were in the first ODI of this tri-series.
Sean Myers plays a shot to other almost taking the second. It's been a bit of topsy-turvy running here between the Zimbabwean batters as the last 3 wickets have fallen, because they're trying hard to get Sean Myers on strike, as she's the senior batter and the in batter as well, so we don't want any runouts at this stage. She's given herself room, tried to pierce the offside and hit the fielder again. What I like about Esther Bafana now is that she's slowly showing the array of shots that she can play, even though they're hitting the fielders. But you can see she's trying hard to get Sean on strike and score for the Zimbabweans. End of the 26th over, the score is 69 for 7. Wily Romana Ahmed continuing from the city end with the leg breaks. Good shot there. Opportunity for 2 runs. It's just gone wide off, long off. Very well played by Sean Myers. It is urging closer into the 40s, hoping to get through the 40s into the 50s, and with Esther Bafana looking decent, this could be a very crucial partnership for the Zimbabweans in the quest to post a decent total. Oh yes, good run. And she's used her feet, as Tino was saying, use your feet against the spin, especially as they are bowling that slow, manipulate the strike as she's doing now. 3 runs off the first 2 balls. We haven't seen that but Sean Myers in form, Esther Bafana's experience, I'm sure this partnership will be a good one for Zimbabwe.
Bold. Aston Bafana looking to cut that one. Never really a ball to cut. Ahmed claims another scalpel, leaving Zimbabwe at 72-47. With the fall of that wicket of Aston Bafana, we see Nomvela Swanda coming in, and she will be on strike. Zimbabwe 8 down. Rumana Ahmed 2 just for 7 runs and 3 overs. John was really looking forward to a decent partnership between Sean Mayers and Esther Bafana, but however, in the last delivery, Esther just chopped on a googly, looking to cut it, finding the inside edge and onto her stumps. Good forward defense by Nomvela Swanda. I think what is also key for Zimbabwe at this stage is that they need to draw back, but however we find them. Oh, she looks to drive. Plenty of overs that are left just past the halfway mark, but they're already 8 wickets down. So it's up to Shane Myers in terms of how she communicates with the partners on the opposite end to make sure that they just keep their wickets. Ooh. Well bowled.
To end the over there, Master E. The Bangladeshis sensing that they want to get this over and done with. They bring back their opening bowler at the tail. First ball of a second spell from the airport end has brought the demise of Sean Myers. Excellent bowled through the gate, nice and full, hitting the stumps. Very good pace bowling this.
Zimbabwe lose their 9th wicket, 72 for the loss of 9. It seems like we'll be taking lunch pretty early. Francisca is the new batter that is coming in for Zimbabwe. Taking a look at how Zimbabwe has played, John, on the street. Moy was saying that suicidal run out in the seventh over was just the downfall of everything. But what does Zimbabwe need to work on right now?
As Faria Krishna comes into ball again. Ooh, she gets a wicket. She's gone bang bang. And sadly, Eli, before we even talk about what you were asking me, the Zimbabwean inning is over. She's gone bang bang, and Zimbabwe has ended up on 72 all out. Very well bowled from the Bangladeshis, and they'll be pretty happy with how their bowlers and their fielding unit have gone about things in this third and final year here at Queen's Sports Club.
FIFA for Akhtar, John, and that was the basis of the Bangladesh demolition job for Zimbabwe cricket. She's bowled the 10 overs, 4 maidens, and gone for 5 wickets. What do you think of that bowling performance, John?
For me, you're asking me, and I'm biased with the spinners, and I think for a spinner to come and bowl and get 5 wickets here at Queen's Sports Club, especially in the first dig, is very impressive. See that she opened the bowling, and it's very well bowled. A 5 on any ground is very special, especially in an international, and very well bowled to her. And she got good support from Rumana Ahmed, who bowled wily leg breaks, and Faria Trisnak came and went bang bang in a second spell to get the 2 wickets, and Zimbabwe ending up on 72 all out after 27.2 overs.
Besides that 5, you look at the economy rates. Besides Farina Tristan going for 5.9, the other bowlers have all gone for less than 3, 2.1, 2.33, 1.75. Again, we alluded to it earlier that the Zimbabwean batters have not put enough pressure on the Bangladeshis. Just picked up 5 for John, but having watched the innings, I think a lot of those wickets were given to her rather than her having to work for them.
I think after the run out, when you have a good start like that, I think that's when the Bangladeshis capitalized and they managed to take wickets at regular intervals, that pegging the Zimbabweans back. One, in the style of play, they couldn't go out and express themselves, and also it made them get into a shell and look to defend rather than keep rotating the strike, and putting pressure on the bowlers and also on the fielders to be able to run the twos, big boundaries, big field here at Queens. Not only going to get the boundaries at will, but also important that you maneuver the strike and run hard. I think that's where the Zimbabweans fell short.
Bangladesh have a target of 73 and 50 overs to get 73 runs, which they will chase after the lunch break. And I think that's going to be very difficult, having seen how they've chased before in the series. So Bangladesh will have their backs against the wall, John, and to get those 73 runs in 50 overs.
Yeah, the wicket is a bit on the slow side, so it will be important that the Zimbabweans learn from what the Bangladeshis have done in the inning and try and do better to enable the Zimbabweans to get the 10 wickets and hopefully get a victory for their team.
Sean Myers has really bailed out the Zimbabwean team. 39 she got out of that score. 39 to Sean Myers. And having looked at it, John, nobody else has gotten past 10 runs. Modesta got 9 runs. 9 runs to Ashley Ndira. This was the stage where Zimbabwe was 35 for 2, and we're thinking that today they're going to put up a good score. But after that, it seems like binary codes: 0-5, 0-0, 0-2, 0. Maybe if we look at extras, they might have added a bit more to the score. But yeah, 8 for extras. So really, Zimbabwean batting has got a lot to do going into the qualifiers per se.
Yeah, it's important that playing at home conditions, the Zimbabwean team needs to be able to adapt quicker than the opposition and make sure that they utilize the home advantage. They've played at Queens before. They're going to be playing in Harare. Important that we take forward the positives and work on the mistakes that they were doing, especially for me, as I've seen the scorecard, which is facing the spin. It's important that we play well against the spin. And as you saw with the first partnership, that it needed a run out for it to be broken, but then after that the spin dominated. So we're not really bad in playing the seam, but we need to make sure that we utilize playing spin well, running at the batters, sweeping, staying back, and it's important that Zimbabwe get that right before the qualifiers begin.
Right, end of the first innings after 27.2 overs of the allotted 50 overs. Zimbabwe 72 all out. Join us after the lunch break where Bangladesh will be requiring 73 for victory and a clean series sweep. Thank you.
So at the end there, guys, just make sure that, I don't know if you guys knew that you were on.
No, I didn't.
No, only, yeah.
Only so
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome back to Queen's Sports Club with the resumption of our third and final one-day international between Zimbabwe and Bangladesh women. Earlier on, Zimbabwe in 22 were bowed out by Bangladesh for a paltry 72 runs, and Bangladesh will come out needing 73 from 300 balls to get proceedings going. Mushida Khatun and Tanzania, and for Zimbabwe, her first look in this series, Nomvelo Sebanda. With me in the commentary box is Vumi. Vumi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Tinashe. Nomvelo Sebanda will come in from the airport end, running in. And the first ball is being dispatched through point region. Very first ball has gone for 4 runs. Tinashe defending 73, not the best way to start.
Not the best way to start indeed. And Nomvelo Sebanda just this time straying, availing width to Khatun, who we have seen has been ruthless against any bit of width. And this time around into that and just punches it gently between those two. 4 runs. Best way to start an innings, especially if you're chasing a low total. This time short again. Pushed into mid-wicket.
Bit of overcompensation. She's gone a lot straighter with that delivery. I think lucky for her, it's the second ball of the inning, so she wasn't willing to take too much liberties with her shot. But we saw her the other day clipping those for 4 runs over leg stump. So Nomvelo has to line up really quickly here because she's really defending a small total. Through the covers again. Beautiful cricketing shot. This baller, she's just a check drive, Tinashe. That is fantastic batting all the way along the carpet, found the gap, and the first 3 balls have had 8 runs come from them already.
Yeah, really brilliant shot. This from Khatun. We've known she's got these qualities, and today she's come out guns blazing. With off at first time on the back foot, she punches it nicely between the fielders at point. And then this time around, foolish, again wide, just punches it into the gap. Much better from Nomvelo. A lot tighter on that 4th stump line. Gets a little bit of movement away from the very much in-form Khatun.
It's a brutal game, this Tinashe, because Nomvelo has taken a bit of time. It's not the worst delivery she's ever bowled, but she's bowling to a class player. And this is what happens when you bowl at class.
Absolutely, absolutely. Nicely played. Pushes it to mid-off. Shen Myers can't really do much there with Ashley Ndiraya not really showing much intent and much aggression to try and cut that off. Nine runs so far from this over. Wicketkeeper better.
Nomvelo Sebanda from the airport end to the right hander this time. Well bowled. A little bit of shape back into the right hander, and that's just pushed away for no. Very damaging first over from Nomvelo. She took time to get going. After the first over, Bangladesh are 9 without loss.
For no loss, Esther Bufana from the city end. She's been brilliant throughout the series. She hasn't had much runs to deal with. Try and defend. And again today, she's thrown in the eye of the storm to try and salvage this game for Zimbabwe. And against a player that she has dismissed before, she'll feel a bit of confidence. Starts well. A little bit full. Khatun feel like she missed out on that one. We've seen how brutal and ruthless she is against an over-pitched delivery.
True that, Tinashe, the Zimbabwean shoulders appear to be drooping already. When you're defending a small total, you want the opposition to work for every run that they get. But the fantastic batting from Khatun, there's just taken a little bit of steam, the little bit of hope that Zimbabweans might have had to pull this one out of the fire. And if you look at the body language now, there's a simple ball that's just been misfielded there, and they don't look like they're up for the challenge anymore.
Shot put away, not really timed in the field at mid-on. Josephine Como gets around and keeps it to one. Didn't really come up quite as intended. Khatun not entirely timing that one, but again the length being very extreme from Esther Mofana, starting with very foolish delivery and then now shot, nothing in between, just like in that Nomvelo Sibanda rather, over. Nicely bowled. That's where you want to be, especially if you are playing it queen. You want to air around that back of a length. And she has been able in the past 2 games, that length consistently.
Swing and a miss at that one, given a bit of wind, and she'll feel like she's missed out because that was there for the cut shot. Played at it but missed. Tinashe, the series has gone Zimbabwe, and after scoring 72 in the first innings, you would think this match is gone. But surely, for the few fans that have still braved the heat and come out here, you'd want to see Zimbabwe fighting right to the very last run. Giving nothing away, no freebies, much better areas. As Bofana is warmed up, she seems to have hitting her areas much better. After 2 overs, the score is 10 for 2. 10.
Precious Marange is left-handers, so she will be quite used to bowling to right-handers. And this time around, a little bit of shape again into the right-hander. Tasnia just having a little bit of struggle. But getting back to what you're talking about as far as the fielding and the intent is concerned, I think we've been singing about this since the Island series, where we saw the difference in mentality from the Irish and now with the Bangladeshi fielders, how they really get up close and in the batsman's face. You know, that cover line, the starting point and the finishing point, there's a big difference in terms of how aggressive the whole fielding group is as a team, and also just generally the placement of fielders. You see, Ndiraya at extra cover, she's not the most mobile, she's not the quickest, and you see there, nicely played. Drops her hands softly.
End of a much better over from Nombelo Spanda. Good comeback over from her. After 3, the score is on 12 without loss.
Continuing from that conversation we were having before that over break, I think generally Zimbabwe's fielding hasn't been professional enough throughout this series, and even in the previous series against Ireland. You see, when Bangladeshi were fielding, the professionalism of getting the ball and hazing it straight into the keeper. I stop from Shipari mid on. Very good. You want to see that? We have had a couple of runouts in our own innings, some brilliant ones, and some really regulation ones for me. But that comes from constantly throwing and constantly backing up and constantly training your skills. Even the throwing, it needs a little bit of training as well. And I don't think we have seen that enough from, apart from that, it's the first time we've seen the ball being thrown into the keeper. Other than that, we've seen that the fielders have been quite reluctant. And a very late call from Mr. Gowe. It's a no-ball free hit to Tasnia.
Intensity is the word, Tinashe. There seems no intensity in the Zimbabwean team. Much better fielding there. It was never a chance of a run out since that was a free hit, but the intensity was much better. She attacked the ball, picked it up, one go and shot at the stumps. Unfortunately, she missed, but that is what you want to see every single time they field. If you look at most of the teams that are playing international cricket, their intensity levels, once they cross over that boundary rope, are high all throughout the match.
Absolutely, absolutely. Foolish, nicely driven, good fielding. Very good fielding from the replacement fielder, Nyasha Banzura. I think she's got wins in her sails after having a good innings in the previous match. 35 not out.
Much better fielding, Tinashe, but again, I would have loved to see her jump back up onto her feet and throw the ball to the wicket keeper, just to show that there's not a chance of her.
100%, 100% nicely bowled. A little bit of shape back into the left-hander.
Once again, good fielding, and she's picked it up and she tossed it back to the bowler to show, like, nah, I'm not going to test my arm today. Maybe she's going to bowl later, and she's saving that arm for some quick fire bowling.
Strange, very strange.
Shot, but wisely the Zimbabweans have put up a sweeper, so there's little damage, and that's kept to 1 run. Again, Tinashe up from the boundary under no pressure whatsoever. She's missed the stumps by a good 5 meters. Luckily, Tasman Ranger was backing up, otherwise there could have been 4 overthrows there. But Zimbabwe really needs to up the intensity in their fielding.
Nicely driven, and another quick single, a fumble. They get across quite safely. Josephine Como doing it this time around, but again, not a clean pick up. Ends the over. After 4 overs, it's 18 for no loss. Again, a bit of shape from Nomvelo Sibanda, who continues from the airport end. Just managing to get a little bit of movement into the right-handed Tasnia. Nicely played. Punch down the ground. You want to see shots like that. She leans into it and the ball might just have enough legs to go for 4. Good chase. Keeps it down to 3. That's a brilliant shot. Vumi, this time around, she just waits on it, let it come to her and gently punches it down the ground. Picks up 3.
Very good shot, Tinashe. Good weight transfer. I was about to say before she played that shot that she's struggling to get the ball off the square. But she was afforded a bit of length there and she just leant into it. Good chase by the Zimbabwean fielders. But it will always come back to bite Zimbabwe that if you do not have runs to play with on the scoreboard, the batters can play their time, they bide their time to get in. There's no pressure. She was able to face 5 dot balls and still get 1 away. Suddenly she's up with whatever the required rate is. I think it's about half a run and over, if at that. Now Nomvelo Sibanda in from the airport end. It's pushed gently into extra cover. Fielding is down, not damaged. So I think if I was a Zimbabwean bowler, I'd be really upset, Tinashe, because the batsmen are not giving me a chance to be seen. I cannot show off my skills because I'm bowling at a team under no pressure whatsoever. So for now misfield there, straight through her legs at backward point, but good cover fielding by Tasman, keeping it down just to 2. As that one has gone past Lorraine Puri between her legs. Good cut shot. Again, a bit of weight offered by Nomvelo Sibanda, but back to my content. As long as you don't have runs to play with as a captain, as a fielding side, your bowlers really, they can't come to the fore.
100% Eli. Sorry for me. And I think that comes back to our conversation that we're having in the build-up area with Eli, that it's strange that Zimbabwe have persisted with the option to bat first, and as we see, another no ball, and this time around it's on the captain. Just couldn't sort out her field on time, and it's gonna cost Nomvelo a no ball. She's not happy. She is not a happy camper, and I'd like to see the extent of the damage. Hatun, who has been brilliant already this match, as is in the series, would want to make sure she capitalizes on this one. Slow ball, heaved over mid-on. Chipara gives chase. Keeps it down to 2. Again, end of the over. It's 26 after 5. Change of action, change of bowler from the city end. Francisco Chipare. Swing and a miss. Nicely bowled, a bit full, and Tasnia goes after it. Again, we see the captain is deciding to take himself out of slip, opting for a ring field, 3 on the leg side, square leg, a mid wicket, and a fielder at mid-on.
Good Yorker there, slinging action. Good Yorker is just almost squeezed under the bat, but it's just a little bit wide from the stumps. Going back to that ball, Tinashe, Zimbabwe have a left-right hand combination to deal with. And obviously after the last single was taken, the captain has not adjusted the field, but surely the bowler should also have a look at the field before bowling. At the risk of sounding like a broken record, I know you've got a lot of millennials listening and they'll be asking what's a record, but sounding like a scratched CD. Zimbabwe only has 73 runs to play with. They must cut out all these little mistakes that are giving away free runs that the Bangladeshis don't have to work for.
Absolutely, Eli. For me, rather. I think we have seen consistently, and we have lamented to that fact. Zimbabwe haven't been consistent enough in the field. And the keeper doesn't get involved in that, and the basics are telling you, pick up the ball and kill it in the keeper's gloves. In the moment, I can promise you that for me, pretty much all the hands, all the shoulders are so stiff out there because they haven't been working them. A little bit of a delay. Umpire Gogo has got a little bit of a concern with something. Could be a ball on the field.
Very interestingly, Tinashe, I'm just looking out the window at the Zimbabwean fielders. I have seen 3 fielders with their hands, both hands, around their waist. And body language, we're speaking about the intensity, we're speaking about the body language. You don't want to show that to the opposition. You want to show the opposition that you're ready for every delivery. You're on the ones that, yes, we have a low total, but Zimbabwe is going to do what can to make it as difficult as possible. This is a strange game. Stranger things have happened. I'm not by any stretch of the imagination implying that Zimbabwe will win this game. But if you make it difficult, anything is possible.
Slowish ball. Nice to play it into the mid-wicket area. Kwanzura again in the action. Ends the over 27 after 6. Into the 8th over, and Marianne not afraid to ring changes here. Perry gets a first look in the series. Handy off spinner. Starts well, gets a little bit of 10. Nicely fielded, much better from Diraya. Square leg this time around. Aggressive.
Lorraine, as the better plays and misses with a defensive shot outside of stump, playing for a little bit of turn, but that ball has just gone straight on with the arm. The one pushed through. It's fielded by mid-off. Tinashe, you say just now Marianne is not afraid to bring the changes, but I've always been a big fan of look at what the opposition have done well. And we spoke about how well the Bangladesh spinners did. I would have thought that with no runs on the board to play with, Zimbabwe might have introduced spin a little bit earlier into the attack, because as you look at it now, already less than 50 runs are required and the horse has almost bolted.
Absolutely, for me, I think we've seen how good the Bangladeshi spinners as a group. They've been brilliant throughout the series, and my thought process is, and I could be wrong, if those spinners, as good as they are bowling to a set of batters, they might another fumble in the dip. Could have been a chance. Shmara continues from the city end. And again, we see a very defensive field set, a ring field on the offside, no slip, no gully. And again, we saw in the first game and in the second game, with a low total like 72, the only way Zimbabwe gets a look in or a chance to try and retain some pressure in this game is taking 10 wickets, because I see no scenario where Zimbabwe can restrict Bangladesh to less than 72. Quick single, again, a little bit of a fumble. Easy runs in the ring for Bangladesh here.
Tinashe, just to continue with your conversation, I was about to say the same thing, that the only way Zimbabwe can give themselves a semblance of competing in this game is to pick up wickets. But you're looking at the field now and you're asking yourself, where are the wickets going to come from? What is the captain expecting the batter to do to get out? Unless they expect that one of those half volleys are going to be driven straight into the hands of mid-off. I'm not sure what the game plan is by Zimbabwe at this point in time. They look like content that they've set a ring field, but even then they're taking singles to them in the field, and the required rate is at 1 and over. So that's really well bowled, just as I say that. She seems to once in a while bend her back and get that Yorker length going right underneath the batter. Surely, if she had a slip in there, maybe just create a bit of pressure on the batter. But at this point in stage, you look at Tasnia, she's faced 22 balls and is on 10 runs with a strike rate of 45. But that's good enough for the situation because of they're only chasing a paltry score. There's no pressure on her. She can face as many dot balls and still she's doing her job.
100% for me. And this was one of our talking that because of the way we have betted and the way we have persisted with the option to bet first, we haven't managed to really give our bowlers a chance to peg back or give a little bit of pressure to. Nicely played. Midfield, mid-wicket, Tasmin Granger gives chase. Should be an easy 2. Yeah, so we were speaking about that. At no point in this, firstly, in the decisions that they've made with the toss, and secondly, with the execution of their plans in terms of setting up a score. Much better this time around from Nomvelo. The first time we've seen a ball being thrown into the keeper. Ends the over. It's 32 for no loss after 8.
The new batter, Nika Satana Jyoti, captain for today, her first match in the series, and she's got to contend with Lorraine Peary. John, you just joined me, but I know you're at the back of the commentary box when we're discussing this, that the Zimbabwean captain could have introduced spin a bit earlier. As it is now, the score is 32 for 1, almost half of what they require, but the spin seems to be more threatening than what the Pacers were.
Ooh.
And I know you, having played most of your cricket here, you've captained the Tuskers local franchise side. When you've struggled for runs, usually you open with spin from one end. And I think maybe Zimbabwe missed the trick there. Big shot, but straight to Kaukona with Tasman. This time plays safety first and keeps that to 1. And Jyoti is off the mark.
A lot of interesting decisions have been taken by the Zimbabwean captain for me. As you alluded to the fact that spin has done the job. And even the field sets, were defending, Zimbabwe is defending a paltry score of 73. We don't have catches, You need to always constantly have catches to give your bowlers the confidence to say, the captain is backing me to get these wickets with an attacking field. And without the catchers, as you said earlier, the Bangladeshis are not feeling any pressure. Right now, an off-spinner is bowling to a left-hand bat, but there's no slip. Ball spinning away. We're needing to get wickets. We've seen that she's bowling a good line and length. She's getting the ball to grip a bit. So the first off-spinner to do when bowling to a left-hander is to put the slip in, and Zimbabwe hasn't done that. Oh, well bowled. Said it, she's bowling a good line, she's bowling a good length. Get a slip in there, captain. Put pressure. They are not scoring quickly. The bowlers are bowling well, but the fielding and the field set also have to back it up to ensure that the Zimbabweans get wickets.
And to say that she's presented a nice juicy full toss, and Katunu is not going to miss out on that. Down on one knee, sweep shot into the vacant mid-wicket region, 4 runs, and pressure is released. End of the over, 37 for 1. Chipare will continue from the city end. John, after all our discussions about what Mangani was bowling, this is where you want consistency. She's bowled 11 very good balls on the trot and picked up a wicket. And just like that, she presents a rank full toss that so easily put away. And Zimbabwe does not have that many runs. You need to be 6 out of 6, 6 out of 6, 60 out of 60. And these girls are playing for a place in the qualifiers. I think this is one thing that the selectors will.
Well bowled again from Chipare. Yeah, for me, it's a fine line in international cricket of good balls and bad balls. But when you bowl rank full tosses like that, it makes it a lot easier for the batters to put the ball away. As you said, Zimbabwe are not used to playing at the international level. Now all these ladies are internationals. So it's important that they get that international cap on. Well bowled again. And be consistent. Be consistent in your bowling. Be consistent in your batting. Be consistent in your fielding. That's what makes the better teams how good they are, with that consistency, and keep repeating same good things over and over again for a longer period of time. And this is what is lacking in the Zimbabwean team at the moment.
Chance of a run out. Much better fielding, attacking the ball, diving throw back to the keeper, but good calling from the Bangladeshi ladies. She manages to get back into a ground quite easily. John, totally agree with everything that you were saying. I like the look of Francisca Chipare. She seems to have something there. That slinging action has got the ball almost tailing in. But like we've been speaking about earlier on, it's very difficult for us to gauge her skills because the batters don't have to attack her. They're just waiting and waiting and waiting. It would be good to see her bowling for Zimbabwe, maybe defending a score of 220. Then we can see how good she executes her skills under pressure.
Yes, Francesca looks good. She's bowling that line and length that you need on a slow wicket like this, wicket to wicket, not giving any width. And as you said for me, that again, she's hit a good area, hitting the fielders. And I like Wanzura when she's coming on into field. She's had that aggressiveness, We'll get back to that point for me at the beginning of the next over. End of the 10th over, the score is 37 for 1.
Umpire Percy signaling the end of the first power play with the score on 37 for 1. Lorraine Piri will continue. She had a good over where she picked up a wicket, but unfortunately could not close it off and bowled a full toss that got hit for 4. But she's been bowling well so far. Good flight on that one. It's pushed out into deep cover for 1 run. So yes, about how much pressure the Zimbabwean bowlers need to put, or how much help they need from their batters to put the opposition under pressure, because as it is right now, it's as easy as pie.
Yes, and today is the last game actually. We won the toss, Zimbabwe, and elected to bat first, which hasn't been going well past 2 games. Third game, I would have opted to give the bowlers a bit of a long run to get that mileage in, set the tone for the team, bowl first, see what the bowlers can do when they are needing to set the tone, and maybe it could have been a different story as Lorraine Piri continues from the airport end with the off spin, good flight, good drift, good line, and it's good to see Nomvelo attacking the ball also, showing the intent, throwing it back to the wicket keeper. Earlier on you were on set with Chimbambo. Chimbambo is a wicket keeper, and he kept on asking for things like that to happen because as a wicket keeper he knows how much it gets the team going to see that the fielders are on point. Good bowling again from Lorraine. She's managed to get the dots, but as you said, it's not pressure to the Bangladeshis because there's no scoreboard pressure. They've already got more than half the runs in 10 overs. So for them, the dots are just easy for them. It's like a center wicket net for them. So as the Zimbabweans, I think they need to be able, as the ball is pushed down to the deep for 1 run. Tasmin Granger doing some bit of work there. Good backing up from the captain. Open the cover region for the offie. Get the slip and force the batter to open the face. It might be nicked off to the slip with the left hander. Open the mid wicket region. Put the slip. They might try and look to hit mid wicket, get a leading edge and get the wickets. Those are the things that the Zimbabweans need to be doing, to try and get a wicket, try and get a breakthrough. As she closes off the over well this time. A good over from Lorraine Piri. The score after 11 overs is 39 for 1.
Bowling change from the C end. Josephine Como, one of the older hands in the team, seasoned campaigner. It looks like the captain has had a heart. and maybe Tasmin Granger will take over. We're just having a discussion of a Francisca Chipare has bowled 3 overs, 1 maiden, gone for 4 runs at an economy rate of 1.33. Why would you want to change that? If it ain't broke, don't try and fix it. But maybe because the score is 72, they're defending, it's already broken, and the captain is trying something different. Tasmin Granger, local girl, she's played most of her club cricket here before trying adventures overseas. So maybe she knows something from the wicket. Maybe John, you've taught her a few tricks on how to bowl on this wicket, and we're looking at Tasmin breaking through for Zimbabwe.
To be interesting to see Tasmin because she's got a remodeled action. It's no longer bowling off spin, bowling leg spin now. Or she starts off with a wide. So saying remodeled action, you know, it's going to be interesting. Like I was excited to be actually in comms today and she's playing because I get an opportunity to see how she's remodeled the action and the difference between the leg spin and the off spin, and to be interesting how she'll go. Very good challenge for her.
And she's gone way down leg side again, so not a great start from Tasmin Granger, and especially replacing somebody who was going at an economy rate of 1.3. You want to maintain the pressure. John, now the full toss down leg side, the batter has missed out on that. John, we're speaking about the pressure here. Nigo Sultan, the captain who's walked into bat, has faced 12 balls and is on 2 runs. Strike rate of 16.66. Ordinarily, that is not acceptable at batting at number 3 in an ODI. But because of what Zimbabwe has done, it's easy for the Bangladeshis. They don't have to attack. The Zimbabweans are giving them extras, they're giving them misfields, and they're actually winning the game without doing anything much. As Tasmin finally gets one to land, it's a difficult skill being a leg spinner. You find it's easier to bowl wrist spin, to bowl finger spin than it is to wrist spin, as evident now. She does not at all seem to have any control over action. I might be harsh on her, but the first 4 or 5 balls I've seen that she's let go, she really seems to be struggling, John.
Yeah, as you said, for me, it's a difficult art to bowl leg spin, you know, and a positive for me is kudos to her for remodeling her action, because off-spin action had a suspect of being a bit on the bench side. But for her to remodel that ball leg spin and still be considered for international duty is a plus for her. But it being a difficult art, as we see she's bowled another one down leg, it's very important that she tries to get a bit more in her action to actually land the ball at a decent pace and a decent line and length, which at the moment she hasn't done. And the score is not actually aiding her much because it's very low. And it's going to be very difficult for her to try and have a decent spell in this game, rather than if Zimbabwe had bowled first, she could have had a longer ball without any much pressure, especially for someone trying a new thing. Score down leg again. Oh, sweep shot. Zimbabwe are misfielding. The ball has been stopped at the boundary, reducing the runs to 2. But Tasmin hasn't really found the radar. Everything is going down to the leg side at the moment, and it's important that she actually gets her radar right, bowls a nice channel like what Ahmed did for the Bangladeshis. Like you said, Vumi, you always try and emulate what the previous team has done well, and then for Zimbabwe, they haven't done that. She finishes off with 1 down to the sweeper boundary. End of Tasmin's over. The score is 46-1. Taz, when she started doing this, Taz.
Lorraine continue from the airport end. She's been bowling very well. Good flight once again, getting that ball way above the batter's eye line and push back for a single. John, when I spoke earlier about captaining a team at Queen's trying to defend a low total, the only way we've spoken about with Tinashe before and all the other commentators that have been on air is Zimbabwe needs to take wickets. I've said that the captain's strike rate, Bangladeshi captain's strike rate is at 16 or less now. Surely you could have a few close infielders because there is no intent to hit the ball. You should have a few more catches underneath. Maybe get a leaf out of test. Let's get Zimbabwe, get somebody underneath the helmet, get a slip in there, put some pressure, because the only way is get wickets. You're not picking up wickets, then it's just a question of when are Bangladesh going to win the game.
It's like you'll be prolonging the loss for me. The idea of having the bat and hit the ball past mid-off and cover, very good shot from the Bangladeshi. This is what Zimbabwe were meant to do earlier, use your feet, and it will be interesting what the next ball will be like. And if judging by what usually happens, she could drop it short and she could drop back and hit it just because she's just trying something, moved up the wicket and managed to stroke the ball. There, I called it for me. Just that shimmy forced Lorraine Perry to drop the length and bowl a bit shorter, because she's now thinking that this batter has run down to me. Is she going to do it again? Is she not going to do it again? At the end of the over there, the score is 51 for 1. Vumindaba Moyo is just taking a bit of a breather, and I'm joining the very famous Master Eli.
Good afternoon, John.
Good afternoon, Mr. A. Tasman, continuing from the city end. I was talking to Vume earlier about how Tasman has managed to model an action from bowling right arm off spin to bowling right arm leg spin. Difficult art for me, if you ask me, but kudos to her to still be able to be considered for national selection with a new action.
Yeah, there have been quite a few bowlers actually that have managed to do that in international cricket, whereby they remodel their action and they do it so well that they are considered to play in their national side. Some might just tinker with it just a little bit. You do remember from the men's side, Sikandar Raza, he's done that of recent, just tinkered with it a little bit. Sunil Naraya as well has done the same, but not in terms of just changing their bowling style, but it's just in the way in which they deliver their deliveries. So let's see how she fares out. Pretty much not much to work with in terms of runs on the board that goes big. That'll be a couple of boundaries and that'll go for 4. That is Mushida Khatun. Moving on to 28, probably trying to shift the gear to wrap up the match quickly. Just using her feet and putting that one over mid-off. Marianne Msonda will change the field set after that shot. Like we did say, that there are not many runs to play around with.
Yeah, the past couple of overs, Bangladesh have shifted the gears per se, and they've managed to use their feet to get to the pitch of the spinners bowling and hit over the top. And Tasmin Granger dishes out another full toss and swept. Oh, a little misfield, a little bobble. just cost Zimbabwe an extra run, but it's not the extra run for me that is the issue. It's the way the Zimbabweans have gone about it in the field. They haven't helped out their bowlers and in creating pressure, and that rundown has caused a change in Tasman Granger's bowling. We saw earlier Lorraine Peary bowled a short one. Tasman Granger, well, she bowls another wide, bowled a full toss, so you can see that it altered what the Zimbabweans bowlers thought like for the next ball after the rundown, which is kudos to the Bangladeshi batters, have managed to change the approach in the game. They are in, hit straight to extra cover. She's not happy with herself that she hit straight to the fielder. End of the over. 14 overs gone. The score is 59 for 1. The airport end, we've got Esther Mbufana coming back for a second spell, and we saw what a second spell did for the Bangladeshi seamer. She came and she went bang bang and finished the game. To be interesting to see what Esther Mbufana brings in play for the Zimbabweans. But sadly, the Zimbabweans have gone defensive again with their field settings. The score is 59 for 1. Just 14 runs to go. We've still got a lot of people on the boundary, whereas you want to cramp that inner ring so that you force the Bangladeshis to go over the top. As she works it down to cow corner for 1. It's easy for the Bangladeshis to go about like this without any shot. You're not forcing them to play any shots out of character, any shots out of anger. You know, it's just willy-nilly for them to just knock the ball around and get the singles and just march gradually to the 73 target that they've got.
Yeah, 12 runs is what 13 runs is just they're looking for, and pretty much with the field set that is there, they will just look to work it around and get it with such ease. But John, I have a question to pose to you. White ball signaled by the umpire. Esther Mbufana just straying down leg side. They have been using these games, this series, to select their 15 for the qualifiers. From the 3 games that have played, who would you put in your 15, if I may ask?
True. Another wide. Esther Mbufana. Yeah, I'll come back to your question there, E. What Bangladesh have done well so far in the strike is Esther Mbufana bowled her first ball to a right-hander, and then the right-hander took the one, a left-hander came into play, and now she's bowled a decent line and length to a right-hander, but down leg to a left-hander. Here, back to your question, Master E. It's very difficult, you know. Or another one down leg. It's very difficult, you know, to pinpoint, to pick in a 15-man or 15-woman squad in this case, after the performances that the Lady Chevrons have had over the past 3 games. Also take into consideration that all 3 games they batted first, so the bowlers were not under any pressure. They were not given the opportunity to showcase their talents, to showcase their skills. Oh, she's got the radar back now. And with the batters, none of them scored. So for me at the moment, it's not really about who do we have as the best. It's about who do the technical team and the selectors think will do a job, think they've done a job before. So it's
So basically, you're saying it's a more of a situation of selecting who you might think is average enough to represent the side better and picking out your best from this series. Interesting situation that
Unfortunately, the batters haven't given themselves an opportunity to showcase themselves. The bowlers haven't been given an opportunity to showcase the array of talents that I've got. Because when you're defending 72, when you're defending 100, when you're defending 60 odd, it's very difficult, to be able to work and project the desired result. Oh, big shot! Oh, and she's got a wicket. She has got a wicket. She's bowled wicket to wicket. The ball has simmed. The Bangladeshi batter has missed the ball. LBW and a breakthrough for Esther Mbufana. A second spell has brought back a wicket, which is what you need from your strike bowler.
Nishi Shorty gone for 12. As you saw that one, it just wasn't enough. There was no feet movement actually in how she went about that shot. She just trying to work it down to the leg side, but it straightened enough for the umpire to give her plumb dead on middle stump. Zimbabwe strike 64 for 2 for Bangladesh. To try and squeeze a quick single to try and get off strike, but however, not able to do that. Well bowled and well played. Subhana Mustari, one of the Bangladeshi cricketers that have been a run for today, to try and see if they can get a little bit of the action in this series. Bangladesh haven't been put much under any pressure in this series, with John New stepping out of the comment box. Tinashe steps in his place. End of the 16th, 64 for 2. Opening bowling from, or continue from the bowling from the city end, it is Nomvelo Swanda. Tries to drive that one, gets a thick outside edge, it'll trickle down to third man. So, Tinashe, I was saying in the last over, Bangladesh haven't been put under any sort of pressure in this series. What would be the positives that they take out from games leading to the qualifiers where they'll be playing? Do you think that they would be happy with their performance so far?
Afternoon, Eli. I think of the two sides, Bangladeshi would take the most out of this. In Zimbabwe, I doubt if they will manage to take anything. But from a Bangladeshi point of view, I think their bowling has been a revelation. The way that they've won games, 3 out of 3 this series. The spinners particularly have bowled with great motivation. After today, getting 5 for close to nothing in a 10 overs. And going forward, especially playing against teams that are more established, they will be fencing themselves with the sort of form that she's hitting just before the big times. I think that positivity in terms of bowling will carry them forward. But again, in terms of the batting, I think they've also been very clinical. I think we cannot underestimate the work that the Bangladeshi top order has put in, even though they've really batted in good conditions, under no pressure whatsoever, chasing down 48 in the first game and then 122, which they did with absolute professionalism. And then today, needing just 72, they are 5 away from another deserved victory.
Well, a massive victory it would be. They would be taking this one by 8 wickets, which is almost in similar manner to the last ODI they played, the second ODI. So you've mentioned that they've been clinical in terms of the way that they have batted in chasing down the scores that have been set by Zimbabwe. Another question I would pose is, from a Zimbabwean perspective, what would Zimbabwe have learned from their Bangladeshi cuts?
Nicely played.
Degatoon works that one to the leg side, picks up a single.
Basically, I think what Zimbabwe takes out from this end of the over, 69 for 2 after 16. Continue that conversation after the over. After having a brilliant spell from the city end, Francisca Chipare is brought back into the attack from the airport end. 1 for 4 in a 3 overs, having a little starter in the action. But to just continue, Eli, Zimbabwe will take back a lot of harsh lessons in terms of they should go about their future as a one-day international team. Obviously, the coaching staff, the technical team will sit down and analyze this particular series and try in very difficult positives to take forward into the qualifiers. And speaking about positives, I think Chipara has been brilliant. Her sense of awareness in the line and length that she has brought into the attack today has been a revelation. Raising a hand up just at the right time for the selectors to reconsider if she wasn't in the plans.
Well, I wouldn't want to be in any of the selectors' shoes for the national side, because it's quite a difficult job that you have at the moment, considering the way in which the team has performed. But there will be quite a few positives or individual positives that Zimbabwe will be able to take. Modesta Mpachiko would be one of those. Well, she batted throughout the series and how she's looked. Shane Myers also was looking good in today's game. Didn't do so well in the first game. But as well, the bowler side, there'll be just one or two that you can say that, they have done well individually before you look at the holistic team approach. So I think that's the little positives that Zimbabwe can draw, and they will definitely be looking at the next task, which is the qualifiers, as a learning curve in ODI internationals.
The good thing, though, for Zimbabwe is just before the serious business starts, they have another fixture to try and polish up and get their combinations right. Josephine Como coming back into the side today, a seasoned campaigner who need that game to try and get into shape. End of another brilliant over from Chipara. It's 69 for 2 after 17.
Bangladesh batters will be looking to wrap this up quickly. What do you think? Will they go for it?
Not really. I think these two are experienced enough to understand the difference between a 7-wicket win and the difference between an 8-wicket win.
For statement's sake, you need 2 runs on the board. You would want to finish off in style.
100%. But you look at, I don't think they are looking at these 2 runs as just another 2 runs, but as part of A much bigger LBW shout, and Nomvelo Sabana gets some joy finally. Brilliant ball. She seems to get a little bit of shape back into the right-hander, and Sobana Mustari had no answers. Umpire Stanley Gogwe, rightly so, lifts the finger. Zimbabwe gets a little bit of joy. 70 for 3. Shibana departs for justice. Now then, with just 2 runs to win, 3 runs rather, Fagana Haq walks out to bat.
Would you say that we might be in for a surprise? Zimbabwe doing the Houdini act?
I'd like to see that. Just like we were saying earlier on, we need a little bit of entertainment, and Nomvelo just gets and produces a gem of a delivery. But Fagana Haq, fresh off a match-winning score in the second one-day international, tasked with taking over the couple of runs needed.
A fuller delivery from Nomvelo Sabana. Just getting a little bit of hint of in-swing, largely due to her action. Fagana Haq, 3 needed. Will she go for it? Let's see.
Again, a little bit of a tail in that ball for Nomvelo. Getting a little bit of swing, just like Islam Trishna, the Bangladeshi bowler who cleaned up our tail with successive balls. She managed to get that ball really swinging back into the right-handers. Change of pass, well done. A little bit of energy, surprisingly so, right at the end of the innings. With that, the 18th is finished. It's 70 for 3. So Eli, I know it's a little bit of a tricky question, but after losing 3-1 to Ireland and just before a big tournament, losing 3-0 at home, what would be your thoughts in terms of nicely driven? It gets past the fielder at cover. Looks like you run away for 4. Cartoon is the winning runs, and it's all over here for Zimbabwe. Bangladesh takes the series 3-0, and Cartoon, very nicely played, oozing class throughout this series and finishes in the best way she can, the best way she knows, with a nicely ball through the covers. Bangladesh have been clinical, and today has been no different. They came out, stuck to their guns. There was a little bit of a partnership in the game between Modesta and Pachi. A freakish run out of Modesta, and The storm that we've become a little bit accustomed to arrived from 23-1 Zimbabwe, getting bowled out for 72. Shan Myers, the only shining light for Zimbabwe, with 39 in her second innings, just the only positive in that innings. And in the bowling section, Bangladesh continuing on their merry way. Nahida Akhtar, 10 overs, 4 maidens, 21 runs and a big fifer. Dismantling the core of the Zimbabwe batting lineup. Trishna in the first game in the series took a couple, and Rumana with the leg spinners claiming 2 wickets. In their reply, Bangladesh were very clinical. Mushida Khatun, 39 not out. Mujant Tasnia in the first look didn't get really good going, 10 runs. Niga Sautana, the captain for the day, trapped LBW by Mofana. Shobana Mostari in the first look of the series failed, and then Mushida Khatun did what she knows best, getting a team over the line. Bangladesh claiming the series. And then in fact, Eli.
So Bangladesh wrap up the series, the trial series, winning it comfortably 3-0. Zimbabwe will go back to the drawing board and see what they can take out from this series. But Mushida Khatun will definitely be amongst the players that will definitely be considered for player off or better off the series. They did quite the whole entire series, blowing Zimbabwe away 48 all out in the first one, and then in the second one bowling Zimbabwe out for 122, and then bowling Zimbabwe out for 172 in the third one. So that's been clinical for Bangladesh in this entire tri-series. So it's been look positive as they go into the qualifiers. They will still need to keep their heads up high, and hopefully in their next warm-up game for that tournament they will look to be positive and go out there and represent their nation well. Bangladesh, definitely they'll be giving themselves a huge pat on the back. They've been clinical in how they've gone about their business from perspective as well as from the batting note. So definitely they'll be happy with the way in which they have played this series, considering that this was their first series since 2019 November in the T20 Women's World Cup when they last saw international action. So it's a good comeback onto the international scene. They will go into the qualifiers with their heads up high, boost of confidence, and definitely they will put themselves in one of the teams that forward to picking up those 3 spots for the World Cup. But your thoughts over the series, Tinashe?
Bangladesh, authoritative, precise. I think their bowling has been a revelation for them. They've just shown how they can come out and win matches for their team, and their batting complementing the good work from the bowlers has not let up. And today, just like all of them, they managed to do the job for their team. So without further ado, we will take a break, and please join us for the post-series presentation.
Supanava, mano, gosta de saúde, eu vou ficar com
Actually, Django was Zimbabwe.
Primeiro, para poder abundar. Vamos watch as letras dele.
Just a second. Next will be Fagana Hut. Fagana Hut.
Okay.
67. No, 64, sorry.
Fagana Hut.
64 runs, yes.
I think I'm done.
You're done. Okay. Alright.
Sai, vamos, vamos buscar.
Come on. What was that?